Hi, welcome to the channel, Moyna Bass Fishes. I'm Jim Moyna, and in this video we are going to talk about the last day of practice, which was day 3 of practice here on the 2023 Tacklewarehouse Invitational on the Potomac River. And we're going to just maybe preview the tournament a little bit. All right, the third day of practice. If you watched the first practice video, you may recall that I wasn't sure if I should go to the area where I caught fewer fish, but bigger fish, or if I should go to the area or the section of the river and try to expand the section where I caught more fish, but the best 5 didn't quite go as big. So on third day practice, I decided to indeed go to the section of the river where I caught few fish, but they were big ones, and I went there, and I didn't really catch any. I mean, I caught one good one, but I mean, I still would have had like 14 pounds or so, which ain't bad. I mean, if you get 14 pounds a day in this tournament, you're going to be in the top 20 for sure, maybe top 10, but top 20 for sure. So, but you know, it's just, I don't know if I want to. I just don't like how it's set up to go to that part of the fishery. I'm just uncomfortable. I always feel more comfortable catching numbers of fish. I just do. And then in the process, oftentimes you get those kickers and keepers that do you well. So as I sit here, I mean, I just don't have enough options in that part of the fishery. So if I go to that part of the fishery and there's boats hogging up the few options I have, well, then I've just wasted a whole bunch of time. So that's why it's uncomfortable. But dang, there are some quality fish down that way, or up that way. Not sure what to do about that. As far as boat number concerned, I got a boat 50 something. So it's plenty of opportunities for guys to get on the stuff that I want to fish before I get there. I know, it's an interesting dilemma. I'll have to think about it and overnight, and I may not decide it until takeoff time. Who knows? But I don't know. I think there once was a day and time when early in my career, I'd come to a fishery and I'd never been there before, and I'd find one area or something, and that's all I knew. So my choice was simple. You just go there and pound it. Over the years, with my experience and my expanding versatility of how I fish and just background knowledge, I mean, I've been to the Potomac now several times. It's like you get all these ideas and you can't do them all. So I don't know. You just can't do everything. So then it's a matter of making a whole bunch of decisions and trying to filter through it in your head and trying to come up with the best option. So anyways, that's just kind of the dilemma I'm in right now. And I've been in other times, you know. I just miss the days where I was a bad fisherman, or whatever you want to call it, and I would go to a fishery and just suck in practice, except for one place I might find, and you'd go there and just work it out, and sometimes I'd do really good in those tournaments. Whereas when I have a lot of options like I do now, gosh, when I fall into this trap where I try to do too much the first day. I'm thinking about the next place instead of the place where I'm at, and by the end of the day, I've got a week just mediocre catch. I just need to just pick an area and just do it. But anyhow, yeah, so that's that. The catfish are biting really good. They're crazy. I mean, they're nice ones too. They're like, the ones I'm catching are like 3 to 6 pounders. I think they're blue cats, I think. So obviously blue cats get to be like 100 pounds, but for what I'm doing, they're pretty fun. I mean, they're crazy aggressive. It's like you pitch into a clump of grass, for example, and I'll feel the bite, and by the time, the second and a half or 2 seconds it takes to reel down and set the hook, honestly, some of these fish have gone like 20 feet in that 1.5 seconds or whatever it is before, when I feel the bite, reel down some, probably about 1.5 to 2 seconds. And literally the fish is already 20 feet away from where I pitched the lure. And this has happened a couple of times with these catfish. They're just, I don't know what's with them. I mean, I'll go to set the hook and all of a sudden I realize that I ain't nowhere near the fish with my hook set, and I start winding and my line's cutting through all this grass, and it's pretty crazy, man. It's really fun actually. And then the snakeheads are they're fun too. They remind me so much of the dogfish or the mudfish or the Grinnell. Those are all mudfish, Grinnell, dogfish. We're talking about this one fish, just 3 different names. And Amia calva would be the scientific name of the dogfish. So anyhow, they're similar fish in that, except the snakefish might be one tick more aggressive than the dogfish. Because these snakeheads, man, when they want your bait, man, they want it, and they just hit. They're hard striking, aggressive biting fish. They don't just come up and inhale your bait. They try to make a statement. They're not like a pike. A pike will like crash and thrash and slash your bait a lot of times. Almost like a if you ever seen those great white shark videos where they try to stun a seal on the surface. But northern pike will do the same thing with a topwater. A lot of times they'll like skyrocket, they'll like blast it and come skyrocketing out of the water completely. But a snakehead doesn't do that. They're more of I don't even know how you describe their bite. Just they just like burst and then clamp down and freeze right there. So it's more of a burst and clamp down on it rather than a pike, which oftentimes bursts and like goes right through the bait. A northern pike will try to like go through the bait when they hit it, whereas these snakeheads seem to go up to it and crash it. They try to just get up to it and crash it, but they don't like try to run right through it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but snakeheads are pretty cool. I gave one away in practice. There was a father and a son fishing off a dock, and I caught one within a short distance from them. So I just left it on the deck of the boat, and when I got to them, which was only like 30, 40 yards away, I asked them if they wanted it, and they said sure. So snakeheads apparently are good to eat. I've never eaten one. Whereas dogfish, I've never eaten a dogfish either, but supposedly I've never heard anybody say those are good to eat ever. And I've heard from people who have tried them, say how bad they are. So anyways, we got catfish, we got snakeheads. They're giving me some action, and of course the largemouth as well. So anyhow, today was the off day, which was a day to get stuff ready. Got that all done. I spent several hours getting my stuff ready every time. Can't help it. Got to go through everything. Got to check my line, replace some, check all the hook points, retie a bunch of stuff, get backups on board, get stuff, backups on backups, Even tie up some stuff that I hadn't tried yet. Even sometimes I'll do that. But yeah, so one thing I still gotta look at the tide charts for tomorrow. I haven't done that yet tonight, so I gotta do that. And that's important because low tide, I always do really best on low tide for most of the places, most of the spots I'm fishing. But some spots are more critical for low tide, and certain techniques are more critical and more dependent upon low tide. So what I like to do is I like to evaluate my spots for which tide, how important is the tide to these spots. Some spots I'm like, okay, I don't care from there at high or low tide. So obviously I'll probably go to those spots on high tide. Other spots I'm like, if I'm not there at low tide, I don't even bother. So obviously those are premium low tide places. And then of course the trump of all of it is, wherever you go, you always want to make sure you're fishing for quality fish. So, yeah, I got some low tide spots that might be really good at low tide, but am I going to catch a 3-pounder there or bigger? If I'm not, then I ain't going there because you are going to need 14 to 15 pounds a day probably to do well in this tournament. That's my guess. So, and of course, let's not fail to mention, my whole goal here is to make the Bass Pro Tour by finishing in the top 8 in the Angler of the Year points for this circuit. Right now I'm 20th, and we got 2 tournaments left, this one and the Mississippi River up in La Crosse. So I really have to catch them. I got a top 10 both of these last 2 tournaments to have a chance. That'll put me right up in that, right within a position or 2 either way of 8th place. So that's what I'm looking to do. Oh man, what else? I probably should just end it. These videos are running. It's taken forever to upload these videos. I don't understand it. I'm not like way out in the country here. There's tons of, as soon as you get on the roads here, it's just mega traffic. So I don't understand why my cell service isn't any better here, but uploading these videos has been a task. In fact, right now is the day before. By the time you see this, by the time this thing actually uploads, it'll probably be like tomorrow during the tournament sometime, is what I'm guessing. And that's if I remember, ideally this thing will upload in the morning. Man, see, the other thing is I got to make these shorter, because the shorter it is, the quicker they upload. And here I am just rambling on, and I'm not even a person that talk. I'm usually short on words, and I don't know how these videos just ramble on like they do, but they do. So anyways, let's just end this, and thanks for watching this channel. It's a channel that it's maybe not as popular as others. So those of you who are watching it, I appreciate it, and it probably makes you a very unique person in some way to be watching this channel, because everybody else is watching all the other channels. So anyways, thanks again, and I will give you a day 1 report when day 1 is over with, although it may not appear on the evening of day 1 because of the issues with the cell service that I just explained. So anyhow, it's a beautiful day here in this forest. Over.